So a couple weeks ago, I got my 1992 Nissan Skyline aligned finally, and I was driving home and a truck came out of nowhere and cut me off. This was literally 2 minutes after leaving the shop. I had to lock the brakes up. But with that situation, it would have been really bad if I hit that truck. Skyline parts are not easy to find and they're not cheap. So if I would have wrecked, it would have been me dealing with insurance companies and trying to prove that the other driver was at fault. And I really don't have time for that. If you have video that proves that you're not at fault, that's really good evidence to have. So I figured it was time to get a dash cam. So today we're going to do a video of the Type S 4K dash cam. I'm going to show you how to install it and show you a lot of the benefits of this really awesome Type S camera. You can buy these at Costco and you can also buy it on Type S's site. Let's do a quick unboxing before we get to the install. I guess this is silica gel. Do not eat this. Comes with some QR codes for a quick installation guide, some various paperwork. This is the suction cup mount that's going to be for the windshield. Get some accessories, and then you have the actual dash cam. Dash cam looks really nice. I like that. Forget to remove your plastic covering. It's always the best part of new gear. Yeah, that's nice. A little mock-up of what it's going to look like. Now there's a screen protector on that. It has a quick install guide and it comes with an instruction booklet. With the accessories, you are going to get a cigarette lighter adapter. This is going to be pretty easy to power up. Just go ahead and throw this in your cigarette lighter outlet. It also comes with a direct USB connector. So this is going to be a really super simple setup. And then with the suction cup mount, this is just going to go right on your windshield, and then the camera mounts right onto the suction cup mount. Pretty straightforward. This is also fully adjustable. If you want to loosen these up, you can. If you want to angle it a little more forward, you can go ahead and do that. But yeah, super simple. So when you're putting this on the windshield, all you got to do is spin this to the right, and that makes the suction cup suck. And then it sticks to the windshield and you're good to go. Let's go outside and we'll install this in the car and we'll go over some of the other features. So to install the Type S dash cam, you want to take your suction cup mount and your camera. Just slide the camera right onto the bracket. Make sure that you take your plastic protector off. You might want to clean your windshield a little bit with some Windex or some sort of window cleaner just to get the surface kind of clean. So they recommend that you mount it about under the rear view mirror. This will keep the front nice and visible. So once you get the suction cup on, you're going to want to twist the mount, and that's going to pull up on the sucker and make this thing stick to the windshield, and this thing shouldn't go anywhere. No matter how aggressive you drive, it should still stay pretty solid. You can also rotate this thing back and forth. This has one adjustment wheel this way. Once you get it to the position that you like, you go ahead and turn this wheel to lock it down. The factory power cable is really long. If you want to run this thing through your dash or through the headliner, you can go ahead and do that. We have a roll cage on this car, so we can actually go ahead and support this on the roll cage if we want, and I think that's what we're going to do with this. You also get a regular USB cable for this. If you do want to hardwire this, you can buy a USB transformer. You can't use 12 volts directly onto the camera. It does have to be the USB voltage, which is usually 5 volts. So that's really the only way that you can hardwire this thing in, is if you get your own little USB hardwired transformer and try to hide it somewhere. You can buy those separate on Amazon and through different parts stores, but because we're going to keep this simple and because we want to take it from vehicle to vehicle, we're just going to go ahead and use the included cables. Just go ahead and plug this in our cigarette lighter. On this car, this outlet's only going to be hot when the ignition is on. You want to make sure that your ignition is on for the camera to work. Just routing this wire because we want it to be out of the way. We're going to go ahead and mount it kind of under our dash. Pretty easy to do on this car. On your car, it might be different. And then once we're under the dash, there's a lot of wiring that we can tie to there. After we run through the dash, we're going to go ahead and run it up the roll cage. We have padding that's already tie wrapped, so we're going to kind of hide it behind there. On most vehicles, you're going to want to take the A-pillar trim and kind of pry that out a little bit, and then you can run the cable through there. That'll be the same situation with the headliner. We have the roll cage here, so we're just going to tie wrap to that, so it's not a big deal on this car. But on your car, you might want to take the headliner and kind of pry it down just a little bit. The cable's not very thick, so you can usually tuck it right in there and just plop it in, and it'll sit and be pretty secure. So let's go ahead and try to hide the cable just a wee bit. If you're tying this to a roll cage, use black tie wraps. They blend in a lot better. I also really like that this is a right angle connector, so the wire only blocks a little bit of your field of view. Once we get to where we want it, we can go ahead and strap everything to the top of the roll bar. Like I said, on your car, you might just want to tuck it in the headliner. This car isn't your typical install. So So when routing the factory cable, because it is pretty long, you want to start at the camera and then work your way back to the cigarette lighter. You're probably going to have some slack left over unless you have a really big vehicle and a really big windshield like a van or a truck. It's really handy to have this thing nice and long, but you want to make sure that the slack's not just balled up on your front windshield. So start here, work your way back, and then you can hide all this slack underneath of the dash. You want to make sure that you cut all the ends off your tie wraps. Usually if you cut these with a pair of linemen's or pliers this way, like you instinctively would, it's going to leave a really sharp edge. So you don't want to do that. They make precision cutters for cutting tie wraps. And usually you want to cut perpendicular to the tie wrap. And that makes it nice and smooth. But the other way to do this is to take a pair of linemen's and go ahead and just twist these off. Now that's nice and smooth and you won't get cut when you grab onto your roll cage or if somebody else is coming back around here. Even though tie wraps are always plastic, they can cut you pretty bad. Now that we got this thing all wired up, we're going to go ahead and turn the ignition on so we can get power to the camera. Takes a second for the SD card to load. It does come with an SD card included. So you have a power button on the side of the camera if you want to turn it off, and you also have a few different other buttons. First button is going to be the menu button. You can see that it has buttons to go through the menus. If you scroll through, there's a bunch of different settings in here. You can change your keytones, boot sounds on and off, motion detection, loop recording, record type, do normal, time lapse all the way to 5 seconds, which is pretty cool if you're on a road trip or something. We're going to keep it on normal for now. Keytone on and off if you want to have, I guess, a tone for when you're scrolling through the menu. A boot sound might be kind of cool though, just so I know that this is here. I like sounds when I start the car. Motion detection on or off. It also has a low, a middle, and a high setting. We're going to keep that off for now. I guess you can use the motion detection for if you have the car parked and you want to kind of use it as a security device. It'll be triggered when somebody's near the car. But like I said, with this car only powering the USB cable when the car is turned on, it's not really going to work for this application. For the loop recording settings, you can do 1 minute, 3 minutes, or up to 5 minutes. We're going to keep it on a default setting of 1 minute. There's a screensaver menu, there's a G sensor, there's the date and time. You can set it for different languages. We're going to keep it in English because that's our native tongue. We're going to go ahead and format the memory card. Formatting will erase all data on this card. We're going to go ahead to OK, and then that's pretty easy enough. We'll go through and hit our default settings, reset it to default if we want, in case we go to something weird. Speed units, you can do miles an hour or kilometers an hour. There's a plate number setting, which I need to look into to see what that actually is. And then there's also Wi-Fi. Device info, regulatory info. You can get an app with this where you can send the video directly to your phone, but we're gonna go ahead and just use this as basic as we can for now. So let's do a couple tests of just driving around with this, see how it works out, check out the video quality on the computer. And we're gonna do some night driving too, just to see how it works at night. So the camera image is nice and bright. There is a built-in mic that does record sound. It's not the greatest, but you can definitely hear what's going on inside the car and outside the car. So it does come in handy. I don't think it's anything that you can run a vlog with or something like that. With the 4K resolution, it allows you to crop in pretty far. You can definitely zoom in quite a bit to read somebody's tag number if you needed to, and to get small details on somebody else's vehicle. There's also a date and time stamp on the video file. It also gives you GPS coordinates and also your speed. It seemed like the speedometer was off by just a little bit. It's kind of hard to judge because the speedometer on the Skyline is in kilometers an hour. You can change the type S to read in kilometers per hour, but because I'm in America, I'd like to use miles per hour as a reference. One thing to note is that I did not set the date and time before recording with the dash cam. I didn't record this back in June or anything. The camera and the mount also make the image very stable. The suspension on the car is really stiff and this camera image is pretty stable. So I'm actually really impressed by that. Even if I mount one of my real cameras to the car, usually it seems to shake the sensor quite a bit just because the thing rides so damn rough. So most digital cameras don't perform very well at night. It's hard for a small sensor to pick up a lot of light when in a low light situation. The Type S dash cam does perform pretty well in the night though. You can definitely tell what kind of vehicle's in front of you, what the color is, and what happened if there was an event or an accident. The dynamic range at night isn't going to be as good as it would be in the daytime. It's just the way the cameras work. So it would be kind of hard to pull somebody's tag number if you are in some sort of situation where you need a tag number, unless they're directly in front of you with your headlights shining on it at the right angle. You're probably not going to be able to read somebody's tag number. The only cameras that could really do this are cameras with really big sensors, like a full frame mirrorless or DSLR camera, and you're not going to find any dash cam that's going to do something like that. And if you did, the cost would be pretty astronomical, I imagine. Just like many other Type S products, there is an app for this. The app is going to be called the Type S Drive app. You can get it in the App Store and also on Google Play. Use it, just open the app. You can connect your dash cam through the app. Just go through, select 4K dash cam. The default password is going to be 123456778. Once you're connected to the app, you get a live view directly on your phone, which is pretty handy if you want to monitor this thing. If you film the screen, you can get that nice video feedback effect. Oh, look how trippy it is. It's like the 1960s all over again. You can do a couple different things with this app. You can access your SD card, transfer files directly to your phone, which comes in handy if you want to transfer something to your phone and upload it to social media. Like if you see Sasquatch in front of you and you want to transfer it to your phone and upload it to Instagram or Facebook, you can do that. Just like all of Type S's products that I've used, their app is really stable, it's easy to connect to, and it comes in handy. It's a nice little bonus to this already awesome camera. So that's it for the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you want to pick one of these up, you can get them at Costco, and you can also get it on Type S's website. I almost think that this is a must-have. If you get into any kind of accident, it's really nice to have footage just to prove that you're not at fault. But it's also really nice to have if you just want video of your car excursions. If you're going for a jaunty little trek in your race car, it's also nice to have for that. I really like it a lot. I wish I would have gotten it sooner, and I highly recommend it. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate you hanging out with me today. Please consider liking and maybe subscribing, and also have a fantastic day.